Hello, I'm Scott Fraser and I'd like to give you a very warm welcome to this free training on how to deliver engaging training with superhero confidence. This free training is created for both brand new trainers who are new to training, struggling with where to even start, and also for the more experienced trainers who are struggling with engaging with their audience. If you're brand new, standing in front of people to deliver training is scary. Those sets of eyes staring at you. Even if you're more experienced, you might still carry some of that fear of talking in front of people, and you revert simply to reading off the screen. This means you get zero engagement and make very little impact on your audience. Then you've got the added expectations and self-pressure to deal with. Oh, and those dreaded earth-shattering nerves. Self-limiting beliefs of, I'm no good at this, I can't do this. I really feel your pain, I've been there too. Imagine then being able to stand with a level of confidence you never imagined you'd have, smashing those nerves, fully engaging with your audience, getting them to do the work for you. The smiles and the thanks at the end from everyone. Imagine how that would feel. I'm so glad you're here, and I promise you'll learn so much from this free training. I'm going to share with you my 5 steps to delivering engaging training with superhero confidence. When you use my 5 steps, you'll be ready to deliver training sessions in a way that you'll never thought possible, with a whole new set of tools for your trainer toolbox. Even if you're a brand new trainer, we're going to start filling your trainer toolbox and change your confidence levels in a way that'll have such a profound effect. Firstly though, I want to take you back in time to some of your own experiences in training, because these have a huge way of shaping the trainer you become yourself. Let me explain why. Now, like most people, I bet you've been sat in a training session where you've been thinking about anything other than the training being delivered. It's time gone from your life you're never going to get back. I know I have many times. Have you ever thought about, though, how it feels from the trainer's perspective? Now, you might have because you're a brand new trainer. You might not have because you're a brand new trainer, and the only example you have is how you've seen others train. And of course, you perceive that's the best way. I know I did too. Often then, this will result in sessions which are nothing other than slides and slides of PowerPoint being read, as this is what you've most likely experienced the most. Alternatively, you may have because now you're the trainer and you feel like you can't properly engage with your audience. You feel stuck or lost with how to improve. You're trying to do your very best, the best way you can, but you feel like it's just not working and the feedback you're getting isn't positive. It's so demoralizing. I felt the same. In both circumstances, you're likely now feeling complete dread days or even weeks before your session. You likely want to bury your head in the sand. I felt the same, and several times being so close to being physically sick at the mere thought of standing in front of people. This isn't the picture I want you to focus on though. Let's straight away banish those negative thoughts, and instead I want you to picture the very best trainer you've ever witnessed. Think of a time when you were sitting in the audience and you had this experience. The way they engaged with everyone, the way they made the learning happen in such a natural and enjoyable way. Now use this powerful image to think of that being the trainer you can start to become when you stay with me for the whole training session. Please remember to follow my 5 steps all the way through to the end, where I'll give you a free gift you really won't want to miss. Now, there's nothing for sale here, and you're going to get so much value from the free training. But please consider that every step is hugely crucial in filling your trainer toolbox, building you to be capable of delivering engaging training with superhero confidence. So don't forget to listen to the end, where I'll reward you with that free gift. So who am I? Why should you listen to me? Well, I've been training people for well over 30 years in all aspects of training, including design, facilitation, assessment, and quality assurance. I was a lead coach and mentor for a very large group of both new and experienced trainers within a very busy training school. Through what I achieved, my school was held up as the best practice model amongst many others in an organisation of 40,000 plus people. I have a proven track record of helping others have the confidence to not only grow as trainers, but in their own personal lives too. Just last year, I was with a fantastic lady called Emma who said to me, "Scott, I just don't get training. I don't know what I need to do to be a trainer." Now, after working with Emma for a short period of time, she told me I'd changed her life forever, and since then, she's been promoted to head of training. Here's a small selection of my many 5-star reviews on Trustpilot. All the testimonials you see here are from real clients who, just like you, needed help to deliver engaging training sessions with superhero confidence. So my overall aim today is to give you the benefits of my expertise, the insider trade secrets of what makes a fantastic trainer. When we unlock your true potential, you'll be utterly amazed at what you can achieve when you have the right tools in your trainer toolbox. Remember then to make sure you listen till the end. I really want to give you so much value as possible from today's free training. And as a bonus for staying till the end, there's that special free gift waiting for you. You really won't want to miss it. Now it's time then to move on to the 5 steps to unlock delivering engaging training with superhero confidence. Let's get started with giving you the first of the 5 tools for your trainer toolbox. I really can't wait to share these with you. Step 1. As a trainer, most of us have or will be told we are to train something brand new, or sometimes you might inherit something that can make no sense to you. Have you had that feeling of being under pressure, alone, and completely lost on where to even start? You need something that makes it easy to start planning your training sessions, and why we begin today with step 1, structural authority. Imagine the feeling of being able to pick up any training session and know exactly how to order and plan it, making it flow in a logical way that helps everyone follow and learn. How can you achieve this? I want you to picture a book. At a very basic level, what convention do books follow? Now, if you thought a beginning, a middle, and an end, you'd be right. The author wants to take you on a journey of discovery through their book in a flowing way that makes it easy to follow. Training is the same. We need to take our audience on a learning journey and make sure we take them all the way to the end in a way that they'll understand and remember the information we've given. Else it's wasted time, effort, or money. I've had so many experiences of this, and I'll never forget the day I was sitting in an audience of a very important training session thinking right from the start, where's this going? I really couldn't follow, and when I looked around, it was clear no one else could either. We'd all disengaged and the session was completely wasted. I felt completely robbed of my own time, and so did everyone else. Crucially though, the important information we needed didn't get to us, so the impact was we couldn't use that vital training in our workplace. If only the trainer had followed the basics of the beginning, middle and end, I'd have more likely remembered the training, not his failure. Now, if you're anything like most people, keeping things nice and simple helps us understand and remember. So you want to do the same thing for your audience. If you can remember to stick to a beginning, middle and an end and let people know where they are in the learning journey, you'll have step number 1 covered. So that's step 1 done, structural authority. You can pick up any training session and know exactly how to order and plan it, making it flow in a logical way that helps everyone follow and learn. You have the real building blocks to structure for success. Now I want you to think about when you're up delivering your training sessions. It's hard work up there all alone with all those sets of eyes on you. Even harder if you stand and just talk at your audience. It certainly doesn't help with those nerves. I want you to think back to that hugely powerful image of the best trainer you've ever seen. What made them so good? They'd have had all the skills to fully engage with their audience, have understood their needs, and used them to truly facilitate the training session. Would you like to know how it feels to get your audience to do the work for you? If you do, then you need step 2. Facilitation feels like conversation. Imagine unlocking maximum impact through true engagement so you work your audience like a magician rather than just talking or telling. Because talking and telling, it isn't training. Engagement is. It's the magical secret that all great trainers use. And today I'm going to share that secret with you. I've trained so many people that tell me they've had their audiences falling asleep, using their phones and laptops, speaking about everything else other than the training, and worst of all, getting up and leaving the session. All of these examples point to one major problem: a complete lack of engagement. Imagine then having a technique in your trainer toolbox that helps you take all those sets of eyes from you. Imagine the time and relief you'll feel by those eyes going elsewhere, those nerves subsiding and your confidence building. If you like the thought of that feeling, then you're going to absolutely love step 2. To get that feeling, you need to fully engage with your audience. You need to be asking the right type of questions and setting activities, which the technique called throwing the monkey. Throwing the monkey, I hear you say. Yes, I've been teaching people for years how to do this. And by you throwing the monkey in your sessions, your gains will be huge in making engagement natural. Imagine all the participation and enjoyment from your audience, while you confidently take them through the learning journey with supreme confidence. The relief you'll gain by asking questions and all of those sets of eyes focusing on someone else. The confidence you'll grow as you're able to gather your thoughts and check your place rather than continually panicking internally about what to say next. It's surprising just how many trainers don't know the power of throwing the monkey, asking their audience questions and setting activities. Many trainers just have the wrong view of training. They think you have to be like a robot, just telling or talking to the audience. Questions are one of the best ways to engage with your audience. And when you ask them, all of a sudden, you'll start to feel like you're having a conversation because it's two-way. You'll be staggered at how much this makes you feel in your training session. Many people I've trained before say the change is profound. And in a very short period of time, those nerves and the panic they had turns into enjoyment for them and their audience. It doesn't end there though. There's another huge advantage to engagement through questioning, which you'll really want to know about because it's the real magical part all engaging trainers use. Asking questions allows you to really get to know your audience level, experience and their needs. Because you do, you'll be able to get them sharing experiences and knowledge that prompt more and more questions and spark interest, conversation and learning naturally between them whilst you just keep the session on track. This makes memorable learning, and through those questions and answers you'll be able to further engage by setting activities that give huge added value and impact using real life examples from the live dynamic of people to get more and more engagement in the subject. This is true facilitation of learning and one of the most valuable tools you can ever have in your trainer toolbox, because it makes the difference between being a good trainer or a bad one. Remember again that powerful image of the best trainer you ever saw. Now I want you to substitute them for you in this powerful image. Visualize yourself delivering huge engagement and enjoyment. I want you to keep thinking of that image as we progress through the training. We're making great progress towards you delivering that engaging training with superior confidence. And I've given you 2 tools so far for your trainer toolbox up to now. We've talked about structural authority, your structure sorted. Facilitation feels like conversation. You're working your audience like a magician. Time to move on to step 3 and to move the focus onto the importance of getting your content right. I'm going to show you that you may be disengaging your audience before you even stand up and deliver your training, but there's a simple way you can prevent this. Content Supremo. So many trainers, both new and experienced, have no idea that their personality preferences have a huge impact on the way they design and deliver their training. They'll wonder after all the effort they put in why it seems that some of the audience seeming disengaged right from the start of the session, despite their best efforts. I remember once when training a gent called Andy, he told me he loved detail. He would fill his lessons full of detail, facts and stats. Some of his audience loved it, but some disengaged almost immediately. Andy soon realised that not everyone liked facts and details, and that there had to be the correct blend between them and what would result in the training with regards to the benefits, the future and the potential. He even became so conscious of it, he would say in lessons, "Oh, there I go with my stats again." This of course was music to my ears, as he'd learnt that his lessons were weighted far too much hugely on the detail, facts and stats. We have to appreciate that everyone in our audience is different, and it's important that we have the correct blend so we don't disengage one group in favour of the other. Of course, Andy didn't realise that his personality preference meant he was doing this, and he's not alone. If you like details, facts and stats, be careful not to cram your training full of them. Similarly, if your preference is the opposite scale, where you prefer benefits, potential, possibilities, then don't fill your training full of them either. Make sure you include a blend of both. Now, another way a classic way of disengaging your audience is when you use technical jargon or overcomplicate the content. Imagine the effect on your audience of switching off because you're doing this. Once this happens, you'll really struggle to get them back. The great news is, though, that there's a really easy way to stop this from happening. Think KISS. So many trainers don't use the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. A great theory developed by the US Navy in the 1960s. It's all about making sure that you always think KISS when designing and delivering your training. Keep it simple as possible. Don't overcomplicate things. Now, if you've some experience delivering training, this is specifically for you, because you might already be making this mistake without even knowing it. I see this happening over and over in trainers who really haven't grasped the concept because they deliver training that's just way too complicated. So it's so important then to remember you must always understand your audience, their level of experience for the subject. It's all about making sure you're giving them something they'll understand and be able to take away to use in the workplace. After all, that's why you're training them in the first place. So that's step 3 done. It's really important that you keep focused on your huge gains from today's training. I want you to keep visualizing that powerful image of you, the engaging, confident trainer at the front of the audience using the 3 tools from your trainer toolbox we've covered so far in this training. Structural authority, your structure sorted. Facilitation feels like conversation. You're working your audience like a magician. Content supremo, you're using a blend of information and understand what your audience needs. Great. Let's turn our attention to another part of training that so many trainers get wrong. Thinking back before PowerPoint came along, I can clearly remember that horrible sinking feeling when the trainer would walk in carrying a pile of overhead projector slides. In those days, it was death by OHP. You could almost feel the energy sap from the room, especially when they walked in. Then came PowerPoint, and the trend moved from everything from OHP, it had to be done then in PowerPoint. So all we achieved was a move from death by OHP to death by PowerPoint. How many times in your life have you been subjected to death by PowerPoint? You know the type of session where you're presented with slides and slides of large amounts of content with long paragraphs of words or piles of images. I can guarantee you all have. We just stop listening and even reading the slides after a short period of time, so they become utterly pointless. Even worse are those slideshows where the trainer decides they'll put in the bottom corner, slide 2 of 63. Isn't it so engaging? You'd be better off just emailing the slides, because this isn't training. I once had someone who emailed me 80 slides for a 30-minute training session, so I told them I didn't need to bother coming to the training as I had everything I needed. So why then would you ever want to be delivering death by PowerPoint? Bad trainers overuse PowerPoint because they use it to hide behind. Let's look at step 4 then. This is why step 4 Visual Aids Expert is about getting those visual aids right and remembering that they're designed for the audience. They're not there for the trainer. Imagine them being able to have the right visual aids designed for your audience to help them learn and remember. A handy tip for you when considering the use of the right visual aids is always ask yourself, is this really the best one to use for this learning? This is especially important when using PowerPoint, as there are other alternatives. It's not the be-all and end-all, but it's extremely valuable visual when used properly. PowerPoint can have a huge influence on your session and the learning experience when used properly. PowerPoint is so much more flexible than just paragraphs of words. You can use it for images, insert video clips, which can give so much impact in every session you deliver if used correctly. Now, talking of video clips, I remember speaking to my Sky satellite TV installer a few years ago. I was telling him I was so amazed at the safety equipment they now use and how it changed so drastically since my first satellite installation in 1995, when they just hopped over ladders and roofs with little regard for their well-being. I asked him how they'd managed such a cultural shift, assuming that there would be huge resistance to such a major change. He told me there was a huge resistance, but that Sky TV had been very clever. They'd filmed another installer who had unfortunately fallen and was paralysed for life from the neck down. They looked at the effect on him and his family. Now, my installer said there was tears in the room and everyone was saying afterwards, I can't afford that to be me. I don't want my family to have to suffer that. Such power and impact and immediate buy-in from one video. So remember then, PowerPoint is not the be-all and end-all. And you really want to question, is it the right visual aid to use? Ask yourself if the use of video flip chart or props would be better for learning. So to finish off step 4, how about a trade secret about PowerPoint most trainers don't even know? If you toggle the B button on your keyboard, it blacks the slide off. Perfect for switching your focus of the engaging training sessions over to you. Give it a go next time you use it. So there we have step 4, and yet another important tool for your trainer toolbox. Keep visualizing that powerful image of you using now the 4 tools in your training toolbox. We've had structure and authority, structure sorted. Facilitation feels like conversation. You're working your audience like a magician. Content supremo, using a blend of information and understand what your audience needs. Visual aid expert, using the right visual aids to promote learning. You don't deliver death by PowerPoint. This brings us on to step 5, which although it's the last one, you're really going to want to hear as it's a real light bulb moment. Remember that free gift? It's coming soon. You really won't want to miss it. Step 5, superhero confidence. I want you to look at this image of a swan. What do you see as the swan swims across the river? Don't they always look so elegant as they glide across the surface? But consider what's going on under the water. The feet are going at a rate of knots. This is such a really important part because it highlights the huge difference between what you can see and what you can't see. For you as a trainer, it's what's about going on in your brain and what you show through your body language. You'll be amazed how many times when I ask people how they perceive their training session has gone, they say, I was really nervous. And when I ask the audience, did they look nervous? The audience says, no. This is the perception versus the reality. In other words, what you think is going on often isn't actually what is. What's hugely important is getting this right is your body language and fundamentally your self-belief. If you're negative and keep telling yourself, I'm no good at training, or this is going to go horribly wrong, then guess what? It will. It will manifest itself as a self-fulfilling prophecy through your body language without you even knowing about it. And it will never end. Don't get caught in that spiral of negativity. So remember that powerful image of you at the front of the audience, that engaging, confident trainer. From now on, I want you to keep visualizing this daily because your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's simulated. Imagine now the power of reversing those past negative thoughts to positive ones such as, I'm a great trainer and this is going to go brilliantly. Visualizing a happy, engaged audience who are taking something away with them of real value from your training sessions. So there we have step 5, superhero self-confidence. You're now radiating self-belief and confidence to your audience so they look and think, wow, they're now the ones potentially aspiring to be like you. And they'll remember you for the right reasons and not the wrong ones. How does that shift, or how does that powerful image of you, the engaging, confident trainer, look and feel now? So in summary today, what I've covered in my 5 steps are: for your trainer toolbox, we've looked at instructional authority, facilitation, feels like conversation, content supremo, and visual aids expert. Finally, we finished off with superhero confidence. Now, I know if you apply these steps, you'll be more effective, but you have to put them into action. The big question is, how are you going to put that into action and start? Now, the good news is that you're still here and you have the right mindset and motivation to improve. So, how are you going to get started and what support will you need? I can't answer that right now because people are different and everyone's journey won't be the same. But I know if you apply these steps now, it will give you immediate gains. Remember, I've been in your shoes, I know what it's like. I want to make sure you get started now, and that's why I've set aside a block of time this week so we can have a personal one-to-one chat with myself or the team. Underneath this video, you should see a red button that'll send you to a link so you can book a call. And once you click that red button, you will be asked to fill out a brief questionnaire, and the answers will help us create the right journey for you to figure out where you've been and how you can apply what I've taught you here. I've known trainers who've struggled for years because a lot of the things they were doing wrong just weren't obvious to them. They just couldn't see it themselves. Of course, it's always a lot easier for an expert coach to help you identify a pathway for improvement, and that's really what these sessions are all designed to help you with. You're on the journey to becoming the great trainer you truly aspire to be. Thanks for listening and giving me your precious and valuable time. I really know this would have helped you. It's the start you need to move forward. See this as the beginning. You have my permission to embrace change, so start now. Don't let your brain talk you out of it. If you wait over 5 seconds, your brain will stop you. So count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and go. Press that red button.